Okay, we're going to finish up this fingerboard. First thing we're going to do is put the radius on this end, the end that sits on the body. Here's my little radius marking jig. And all the different fingerboards have very specific lengths, so I have some marks on here that I'm looking at to make sure I make this one the tenor length. And you can see now I have that marked. This end has the cut from when Kerry slotted it, so I'm going to use that as my reference for where the nut will go. Do this flat end first. I have a jig now which helps me get absolutely parallel to my sanding disc here. You can see the lines going all the way across, and the sound really changes. This is when I really rely on how it changes in sound. So that's a really flat surface the nut will butt up against. That's an important part. Just going to slow down this. And that's stopped. Take this off. I'm going to stick my 220 grit paper back on in the middle like I had the other day. Kind of in the middle, middle-ish. So I'm going to start here, rough out that, and then finish it on there. It's a nice, smooth, perfect radius on the end there.
You know, watching you use these templates reminds me of a discussion Aaron and I had the other day in the shop, where we were trying to think of, is there anything that we actually use a ruler to measure anymore? And there's one thing when we put in the end pin or the pickup jack, where to center it, you know, and we are even thinking of tooling for that.
Yeah, I need to make you a little center.
But I think that's, people should think about when they're starting to build in some volume, that really your objective in tools and templates is to get rid of the ruler.
Get rid of the ruler, yeah. That's something I always try and do. Anytime we're measuring and looking at numbers, it's a good chance we'll do the wrong.
Exactly.
For me, I'll do
We're just trying to take out human error.
Taking it away. Okay, next thing we need for this is the player dots. And I remember the first few batches of fingerboards I did for Gordon, he emailed me back very snarkily, how are the people going to be able to play their ukulele better? And there aren't any player dots on the side. So, you know, one of those things I always remember to do now. I use the drill press over here. Not sure where you want to be. I want to be.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to be sitting right here. I'm very aware that if I do the thing the same every time and sit in the same place, it's going to work well. Now, I had this set up before, so I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's right in the middle. And you'll notice, as we don't have any face dots here, I don't have anything to follow about where they're going to go. So I've got marks on my jig. This may look like a jumble to you, but it's perfect for me. So I'm actually on a tenor, and I'm looking at these black lines. That's where my dots are going to go. So, come to here, and I'm just eyeballing it to the center. Don't need to go very deep. To the 9th fret. Now I'm up at the 12th, so I'm going to have 2 here.
Why did you say 9 when it's really 10?
Well, because I'm a guitar player and I still think of it as 9 even though it's 10. You know that. 2 dots here at the 12th, because that's the really important halfway mark. And then 1 at the 15th. There's our holes. Okay. This goes into this little holding jig here. I get my number 10 fairly thin super glue.
So this is one of the few places that we use super glue in the shop, but boy, when we want it, we really want it.
It's good stuff for this.
And we get this stuff, particular stuff from StuMac, and it comes in thin and medium. That's the only 2 we use, 10 and 20.
Yeah. And I'm using the white on this fingerboard. If this was a maple binding, I'd use a black dot. I'm just looking for a little drop in each hole. One thing I find with the maple is a lot softer than the ebony and it absorbs the glue, so I put a little bit more to get going than I would on the ebony. Come on. Don't be the end of the bottle right when we're filming. Oh, there it is. I'm just going to get rid of a little bit of that. This all disappears. It's not a problem, but I don't need it in the way. Now I'm just going to tap this plastic rod in. Make sure it's seated nicely. Trim it off. And once the fingerboard is fretted up at the main shop, the edges of these bindings get cleaned up, so I don't worry about the finish on these at all. They all get cleaned up and they'll be perfectly flush. And there it is. So that now is ready to go up to the main shop to get stuck onto the neck and fretted. And the reason I'm wearing this is I found if you get super glue on your fingers, when you then pick it off, it takes 3 layers of skin, and when you go to your gig that night, it's like, oh, ow! So I have to wear this now. And also, it's highly fashionable.
All right. Thank you, Ben.
Yes.